So I'm not particularly good at video games. So what happens when someone like me tries to play a game that's known for its extreme difficulty? Dark Souls. Just to let you know in advance, this game was beyond difficult. With that said, let's get right into the game. When the game showed me the character selection screen, I was already in love.
Does it look like me?
After I created my character, I got dropped off in a jail cell, and that's when I found my Estus flasks.
Estus flask.
Then I killed the first mini-boss, the Asylum Demon.
Get out of here.
Then I escaped and got sent to the Firelink Shrine.
Alright. Firelink Shrine.
After a bit of running around, I got sent to my first area, Undead Burg.
Ugh.
After I was exploring for a while, I eventually found a bonfire, which led to the first boss of this area, the Taurus Demon.
Oh,
and as you can tell, I'm not very good at this game. Surprisingly, I still took down the boss on the first try.
Die.
Then I explored this big castle, which gave me a Firekeeper soul, and led me to the next big boss, the Bell Gargoyles. This boss was beyond annoying. Once you got one of them low enough, a second one would spawn, and they'd both start breathing fire at you, and there were remotely no openings that I could find. After several attempts of boss runs, different weapons, different armors, I finally got the perfect run. We got the win and rang the bell.
Let's go. Okay. Finally.
After more exploring, we finally got to our next boss, the Capra Demon. And I thought that the Bell Gargoyles were bad. This boss was so much worse. Not only do you have to fight this boss in the smallest arena imaginable, but there's also these dogs that are chasing you around during the fight, and it just makes it so annoying. Not to mention, the boss run that it takes to get down there takes so long, and the enemies attacking you do a ton of damage, and they're just extremely annoying. Eventually, chat told me that this boss was weak to fire, so with the help of some fire bombs, we eventually took this boss down.
Let's go.
Which brings us to the depths. Woo. I truly don't know why FromSoft decided to make the beginning of their game this annoying. Because, in the depths, after a bit of exploring, I found these frog things that give me a curse. And as someone who's played a bit of Dark Souls 3, I wasn't too worried about seeing a curse. It was more like, oh, I'll die and then I'll respawn, go back to where I was, no worries. But then I respawned with half a life total. I had no clue how to get rid of this. And after being very frustrated, I ended the stream and started it back up the next day. Eventually, chat told me that there was an item I could buy from a merchant that would get rid of the curse, which is what I did next. Not only this, but they told me where I could reinforce my weapons, which was a massive help. Oh, okay, cool. They also told me to kick this one NPC off a cliff, which gave me a ring, and they also taught me how to use the Firekeeper souls.
Go. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, wait, no. Yes.
So after all this grinding, I eventually was not cursed, had better Estus, better weapons, and better armor, which was a huge help. And then I went back to the dragon, and I smoked it. Oh, we got a Blighttown key. Yeah, killing this boss gave us the key to Blighttown. This place is so annoying. There's hazards everywhere, it's dark, the enemies do so much damage, and there's this toxic debuff, which is basically just double poison. It's so terrible. After so many deaths, we finally made it to the bottom of Blighttown, where we found a bonfire and our next boss, Queeleg. This boss truly wasn't too bad. After a few attempts, I killed the boss and rang our second bell. Last hit.
Nice.
Then, with the help of chat, I found and killed Queeleg's sister to upgrade our Estus again. Then we made our way over to Sen's Fortress, or as chat likes to call it, Sfun House. Sfun House wasn't very fun. There's a ton of traps, tanky enemies. It was just not a good experience. The worst part about this, though, is that there are remotely no bonfires. Every time you die, you have to go all the way back through the fortress. But eventually, I finally got to the boss, and died so badly. Someone in chat told me that this boss was weak to lightning, and that one of the mimics in Sen's Fortress drops a lightning spear. So I got that, and fought the boss again. Not to mention, there was also a bonfire right next to the boss, which made this so much easier. So after a few tries, I took the boss down and got sent over to Anne Orlando. After an hour of mindlessly running around, I eventually got to this area where I got killed by demons and these random archer things that do absolutely way too much damage. But luckily, after getting past this, I found another bonfire and kept exploring. After realizing that I was able to turn my lightning spear into a +10 regular spear, there wasn't a whole lot of preparation to do for this boss fight because I was doing really good damage. I just had to learn the moveset. For some reason, this boss was extra intimidating because it was on that Watch Mojo top 10 hardest bosses list. I don't know why I found this more intimidating, but it just was. But this boss was kind of disappointing. The hitboxes were absolutely terrible and Ornstein's attacks were so glitchy. Either way, this boss was definitely the hardest challenge so far. So at first, my plan was to kill Smo first so I can get Ornstein's spear later on in the game, but after realizing that Smo is way easier to kill in the second phase, I just did that and killed the boss within a few tries. I was super happy because I'm now able to fast travel. This helped me out so much. So I returned to Firelink Shrine where this cutie patootie took me down to this weird basement area of the Firelink Shrine, which apparently marked the mid-game of our adventure. Chat also told me to get this one shield called the Grass Crested Shield, which would help me out through the rest of the game.
Got the shield.
After this, since I was already close by, I just took out the Moonlight Butterfly.
There we go. Come meet your fate. There you go.
Apparently there were also a few things to get back in the Undead Asylum, so I did some parkour and made my way back. So I got this rusty ring and killed the Stray Demon to get this weird doll thing. More importantly, I killed one of the Black Knights and got its weapon. Then it happened again. Then chat sent me on a wild goose chase back to Blighttown. In Blighttown, I got a Firekeeper soul and found this hidden area where I had to parkour down a tree, get attacked by these weird cursed frog things, and then get chased by a Hydra just to enter this weird dragon covenant that I still have no clue what it does. The next day, I started my adventure to get all of the Lord Souls. The first one that I wanted to get was in the Catacombs, where I got to fight Pinwheel, which gave me the Rite of Kindling, which helps out a lot throughout the run. But then I had to enter the Tomb of Giants. This area was so annoying to say the least, but after I learned that I could use this lantern, it made it so much better. After getting kicked off a cliff by Patches, I eventually optimized my route through a bonfire to get to our first Lord Soul, Nito. I actually ended up doing this boss fight and a few more off stream with my brother, but to sum it up, we got to the most annoying boss in the entire game, the Bed of Chaos. This thing was so annoying, I didn't even know how to damage it. But after breaking whatever these are, the Bed of Chaos started breaking holes in the ground and it started slapping me into them, which just insta-killed me, which was extremely annoying. My only saving grace is that this boss's phases would save after you die. But after I got the boss down to its final phase, I had to do this weird jump onto this little platform so I could kill the boss, but I kept on dying. It took me so many tries. Not to mention that this boss run is the worst in the entire game. It takes so long just to die from one slap into a hole. But after a lot of attempts, I took the boss down and got the Lord Soul. Then this takes me to one of the coolest places in this entire adventure, the Duke's Archives. But this place is a maze. I died so many times to this boss that I'm going to call Seth because I had no clue how to damage it, only to realize that this boss is invincible. After so much exploring, I got down to this crystal area, which I had no clue what to do there, only to realize that there were invisible paths. I still had no clue where these invisible paths were, but after a wild goose chase, I eventually found my way back to Seth, where I killed him in one try.
No, we're going for it.
Then I backtrack a bit to get the Firekeeper soul in the Duke's Archives and killed the Firekeeper in Anor Londo to upgrade the Estus twice. Somebody in chat also told me that if I were to give a +10 scimitar to the giant blacksmith in Anor Londo, then it would give me Quelaag's sword, which was sick. After getting the sword, I used that doll from earlier to get into the painted world. This place was so cool, but I was very over leveled, so it was a bit too easy. Once I got to the boss room, someone in chat told me not to kill the boss, so I didn't. I just ran past it and went back to Anor Londo. Then I killed this one boss that you find in an infinite hallway. Then I got a key from Andre to fight a boss called Sif, where I got a ring to enter the abyss, which is what I'm going to need to get the last Lord Soul. I was exploring New Londo and got killed by these ghosts so many times that I couldn't even hit. I got these things called transient curses so I could kill the ghost, which took me to this weird wizard guy who gave me a key to the floodgates. This sent me down to the abyss, where I'd fight my last Lord Soul, the Four Kings. This boss was so cool, but I had no clue what the gimmick was. There were just more of them spawning out of nowhere. Someone in chat told me that this boss was simply a DPS race, so after sticking close to the boss and doing a ton of damage as fast as I can, I eventually took the boss down. Once I got my last Lord Soul, I went back to the Firelink Shrine so I could fight the final boss, Gwyn. This boss is so cool, and the music was so good, but the boss was giving me a run for my money.
Whoops.
Eventually, someone in chat told me that the key to this boss fight was parrying, so with the use of that, I took down the boss with ease.
Clutch up, let's go. Alright, so it does more damage now. Quite a bit more. Bad timing on my part. Tough soundtrack. No, that was big. That was big. Okay. There we go. That's Dark Souls 1. Ooh, the 12 o'clock clutch up.
And with that said, the run is over. This was a truly awesome experience, and the game definitely won me over. From start to finish, this game truly makes you feel like you're on an adventure, and I'm excited to take on the other From Software games. Let me know if there's any other games or challenges that you want me to do in the future. But with that said, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, or even tune into my Twitch if you want to see me do more challenges like this. Thank you.